Here's a dirty little secret out there for you. Something you probably should know about. I'm going to tell you more about this in just a minute. But first, listen to what President Bush had to say about the health of our nation's economy today.
Last month, our economy added 110,000 new jobs. And that's good news for people here in our country. It's an indicator that this economy is a vibrant and strong economy.
And that does, no doubt, sound nice, right? So what's the secret? The secret is that our economy is inflated with borrowed time and borrowed money. Never before have we owed so much to so many in this country. And folks, that ain't good. Let me show you what I mean. Let's talk about the national debt for starters, all right? Here it is. Let me see if I can even read this number. $9,050,000,48,079,280 with 70 cents. That's a huge number, as big as it's ever been. By the way, how much of that share is yours? Every one of us who lives in this country, that means owes $29,862 with 88 cents. So whatever you think you're worth, take that away from it. Now, by the way, who do we owe the money to? Come back here. Hey, go ahead, Ellie, change that for us. You know, there are countries that we really owe our shorts to, folks. Look at this. Brazil, $105 billion. We owe them. Brazil. This is oil exporters, you know, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, Iran, $124 billion. Here's another one, the United Kingdom. We owe them $210 billion. But the big ones, China, $408 billion, and Japan. We, the United States of America, owe all these countries, but this is the mother lode right here, $611 billion. One man is literally going around screaming that this is just wrong. He should know. He is our nation's top accountant. His name is David Walker. He's the US Comptroller General, which means that he's the head of the Government Accountability Office. They're the people who watch federal spending. And he says what he's seeing right now in our country scares him. Let's talk. David Walker, thanks so much for joining us. If a CEO of a company ran his organization this way, if he borrowed this way, wouldn't he be out on his keister?
Probably would be, but you know, the federal government has the ability to raise taxes. It has the ability to borrow at very attractive interest rates at the present point in time. And so far, we've been okay. Yeah, but the problem is the borrowing. I mean, no administration in the history of the United States has ever borrowed as much as this administration has borrowed. And there's something else that's probably equally troubling here, and maybe you could speak to this. The fact that the people who are in this administration have connections to the companies who are being paid from the money that's being borrowed. In other words, thank you, China. We'll take that money now. We'll pay you in 40 and 50 years. In the meantime, it's going to the Kellogg Brown and Roots. It's going to the Halliburtons. Isn't that a problem? Well, there is a separate and distinct issue there as whether there are any potential conflicts. The real fact is we have raised the debt limit for the 5th time in the last 5.5 years, and we're still debating that rather than treating the disease. We need to impose tough budget controls. We need to reform Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. We need to engage in comprehensive tax reform before the tsunami of spending associated with the retirement of the baby boom generation happens.
Well, here's the problem as we have it right now. The people living right now in the United States aren't feeling the effects of all this money that has been borrowed, right? Because the real people who are going to feel it are the people who aren't watching us right now. See, they don't watch CNN, they don't watch Fox, they don't watch MSNBC. So they really don't know and probably don't care at this point. So it's almost like we're getting away with something, aren't we? I mean, it's like borrowing money on the slide.
Rick, what's happening is that we're spending more money than we make, we're charging it to the national credit card, and we're expecting our children and grandchildren to pay it off with compound interest.
Exactly.
Exactly. In many cases, they can't vote. They're too young to vote. And that's why I feel so strongly that to state the facts and speak the truth, to try to make sure that the next president will make fiscal responsibility and intergenerational equity one of their top 3 priorities.
By the way, the president this morning said he's happy with the economy, that things generally look up. Where's he wrong?
Well, first, he's not necessarily wrong with regard to the short term. That's part of the problem. We have a false sense of security today because economic growth is pretty strong, unemployment is low, interest rates are low, the markets have been doing good things of late, and so that gives us a false sense of security. Plus, deficits have come down for 3 years in a row. But what people don't realize is due to the retirement of the baby boom generation and out-of-control health care costs, we're headed for deficits and debt levels like this country has never seen, and we cannot sustain.
And you're the man who's been going around trying to get people to pay attention. My thanks to you for being here. Sounds an awful lot like a ticking time bomb. We'll have you back. Thank you, sir.
Good to talk to you, Rick. Take care.
I was